2, 3, 4. Hi friends, I am Anthony, the online guitar teacher, and today I'm going to teach you about 12-bar blues, and I'm going to teach you a few little cool strum patterns that you can play in rock and roll. All of the things that I'm going to teach you today are available in my guitar instruction book, Rock Heroz, and they are tutorials and demonstrations that follow the pages of the book. Okay, let's get started. Turn your books to page 21 and let's go over the 12-bar blues. So 12-bar blues is a standard blues form. Every good blues player knows this form back and forth and probably knows at least 10 variations on this form. So here it is. I will play it for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that is the basic 12-bar blues form, and that's what we're going to go over today. So this 12-bar blues is in the key of A. If you are soloing over this 12-bar blues, you can play the A major pentatonic and you can play the A minor pentatonic. Both will sound good. So let's continue. Now, the first thing you need to understand is the blues ride. In A blues, we have an A ride, we have a D ride, and we have an E ride. What are those? Before I explain to you what the rides mean, I'm just going to show you how to do it. So, to play the A ride, you're going to play the A string and the D string, the 5th string and the 4th string. The A string is going to remain open the whole time. However, on the D string or the 4th string, you're going to press the 2nd fret, and then you're going to rock your 3rd finger onto the 4th fret and back and forth. So you're going to play each of those twice. Now, in order to get the hang of this, I simply suggest you put your 1st finger on the 4th string 2nd fret and get in a position where it's easy to drop your 3rd finger down onto the 4th string 4th fret. Yes? Got it? Now, just practice going on and off like this for a minute to get the feel of that. It might be weird and hard at first. And then just try and play them in each position and go back and forth. When you play the blues, there are many variations of how you do this, but we're going to do it by playing each position twice. And we're going to swing it. So instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's swing rhythm. Okay, bum, ba bum, ba bum, ba bum. Yes? Then we have the D rides. The D ride is exactly the same as the A ride, except you're going to move that whole little thing down one string. So you're going to play the 4th string and the 3rd string, like this. But everything is going to stay the same like it was before. 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, playing the 4th string open, and then 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string, playing that open. And rocking back and forth between the two, playing each one twice. So that's the D ride. And then we have the E ride. So this is where you take the whole thing and you move it up to the top string and the 5th string. So the 6th and 5th string. The E string is going to remain open the whole time. The 5th string, you're going to rock back and forth from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret. So those are the rides. Now we name them A ride because the A string is open and played throughout. So the note A goes throughout. So it's like you're riding on the A. And then the D ride, same thing. We play the note D throughout. So it's like you're riding on the D. And then the E ride, we play the note E throughout. So it's like you're riding on the E. Okay, so that's why we call them rides. Okay, now here's the form. So when you count this, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is one measure. One count to 4, one measure. I like to think of it as twice back to the third finger. So there's once to the third finger, there's twice to the third finger. So that lets you know it's time to move to the next measure. So in this form, we're going to play an A ride for 4 measures. Then we're going to jump to the D ride and play that for 2 measures. And then we're going to go back to the A ride and play that for 2 measures. And then we're going to go E ride for 1 measure, D ride for 1 measure, A ride for 1 measure, and then end with a little turnaround on an E chord that I'm going to show you, where it's just simply you play an E chord and you go, and then you go back to the top. We're going to start by playing this freeze game style, which means when we get to the new blues ride, we're going to stop, give us a second, and then continue. Okay, so first things first, we're going to play the A ride for 4 measures. We're going to go nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, freeze. Now we're going to switch to the D ride and play that for 2 measures. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Freeze. And now we're going to go back to the A ride and play that for 2 measures. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now the hard part, we're going to play the E for 1 measure. 2, 3, 4. Freeze. And then we're going to jump over to the D ride and play that for 1 measure. 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to jump over to the A ride and play that for 1 measure. 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to end it with this little E chord strummy strum thing. 1, 2, ready, go. And then you continue. Let's play the whole thing together, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to call out the times when you need to change. All right? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and switch to D. 1, 2, back to A. 1, 2, and now to E. And now to D. And back to A. 2, 3, 4, E. And back to the beginning. Okay, so there's the 12-bar blues. Now you'll notice I did a couple little fancier things the second time through. If you want to try those, basically on the 3, instead of going back to the 2nd finger for 2 hits, you can go to the pinky on the 5th fret. So you get 1, 2, 3, and then back to the 3rd finger, 4. That's a little something you can do. Okay, now let's turn our books to page 22. Now you'll notice on page 22, we've got some chords at the top. Now you can go ahead and learn those on your own. I'm not going to go over those with you because they're basic chords and you know how to read your chord diagrams. Down at the bottom, we have some new strum patterns. and I'd like to go over these strum patterns. So these aren't in any songs in the book, but these are fun patterns to play and to make up your own songs using these patterns. You will find they're all used in many songs in rock and roll. Okay, so to go over these patterns, why don't we just go ahead and play a G chord. Play the G that you use in Good Riddance, where you put your third finger on the second string and your pinky on the first string. So this first strum pattern, I call it a driving rock pattern, and it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? As you can see, it's kind of a driving rock pattern. So with this pattern, what you're essentially doing is on 1 and, you're doing little hits at the top string, 1 and then on 2, you're doing a big full strum, and then on and 3 and, you're doing little hits again, and 3 and then 4 a big strum, and then on the and of 4 you're doing a little hit. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. A good way to practice this to get the hang of it is to simply go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Do that for a bit, count while you do it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then on the 2 and 4 make them big strums. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? You can play this every time you want to really drive it, you know. And then always you can improvise and add accents on different beats, but you want to keep the foundation of the pattern. The next pattern is the folk style strum pattern. So you're going to hear this on tons of folk songs everywhere you go. In the book, this is written with a small strum on the 1 beat, and you can certainly do it that way. However, I'm going to teach you an even more authentic way to do it that'll give it that real extra folky flair. First, let's do it as written in the book, and it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we do the small strum on 1, we do the big strum on 2, and then we go down, up on 3 and 4 and. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Okay? Now, if you want to make it very, very authentic, instead of a small strum on 1, you simply hit the bass note of whatever chord you're playing. In other words, if you're playing a G chord, you hit the 6th string only by itself because that's the bass note, which is the note G, or the root note of a G chord. So you go like this. If you're playing a C chord, for example, you want to hit the 5th string, only the 5th string, and then you get that root note. If you're playing a D chord, you want to hit that 4th string because that open 4th string, the D, is the root note of a D chord. So that'll get you that real folky sound by hitting just the root note instead of the small strum at the beginning of each measure. So this third strum pattern is what I call a combo pattern. And what is essentially going on here is that we kind of do the basic idea in the first pattern, and then we improvise a little bit on the second pattern to make it more interesting. Now, I'm going to teach you a specific strum pattern for the second measure, but you can improvise that second measure in whatever different ways you want, using what I teach you as a foundation. Okay? But I suggest that you practice trying different things in that second measure as long as you get back to the main strum pattern in the first measure, which will help you stay on beat. You're good to go. Now this version of this pattern is used in a lot of pop songs as well, especially in the early 2000s. You heard this a lot. And it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So the first measure is basically the strum pattern that I've taught you already in Let It Be. It's also used in 21 Guns and Good Riddance. And it goes like this. Big, small, big, down, up. So on the 1 we have a big strum. On the 2 we have a small strum. On the 3 we have a big strum. And then on 4 we have a big strum. And then of 4 you have an up strum. 1, 2, 3, 4 and. So that's your first measure. Yes, you know that already. And then the second measure, you do a small strum on the 1, a big strum on the 2, and down, up on 3 and 4 and. In other words, this is identical to the folk strum pattern. So it kind of combines those two. So you've got, right? So the second measure again goes 1, 2, 3, and 4 and. So go back to that tutorial that I just taught you, that strum pattern, and you can learn it better. Now, if you put this together nice and fast, and you play it a little more subtly, it sounds something like this. You can take that second measure and do all sorts of stuff with it. Let me show you. So you can do all sorts of improvisations with your rhythm. You don't have to stick exactly with what you've been doing without changing it at all. All right, so that's this week's lesson. I hope to see you soon.